Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Lock your
Well, that
Soyuz
is
hatch
Canadian astronaut
and
Chris
put
Hadfield
your
and
helmet
his
on.
rendition of David Bowie's Space Oddity on his
control
final
to
couple days here,
Major
final day
Tom.
today at the International Space Station. He'll be back on planet Earth about 10:30 tonight. But what a recording, and what a man, certainly. He has been what we're all talking about today. My panel on Top Talkers today includes Michael LeBurn from CTV News at noon, Melanie Adams from Bob FM, and John Brenner from CFRA.
Morning.
Thanks for joining us today, folks. Isn't he something?
Well, he's done so much for the Canadian space program, for the International Space Program. He's really put Canada on the map. Canada's done so much over the years, you know, the Canadarm on the space shuttle. But this guy has just humanized everything, and he just seems like such a great guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if they set out to make this happen or not, but I mean, before he went up there this time, I couldn't care less about the space program. I wasn't interested, I didn't read about it, I didn't pay attention. Now I'm mesmerized because of this guy.
He's called the coolest guy in space. Well, he's one of the only ones in space right now, but so it's a title that I don't know, it's too hard to earn, but nevertheless could still be one of the coolest men on the planet when he comes back, I think is safe to say. I think, Melanie, they were probably trying to get a little bit, I mean, he might have anyways been trying to, as some of the articles in the papers are suggesting today, make space sexy, make it something that people are interested in reading about, want to learn more about it. Let's talk about, John, what he did in terms of using Twitter to keep people interested in following him, and he was keeping us up to date on what he was doing. That's something never been done before.
Yeah, and I think that was the magic part about it. I think that's what pushed it over the top, because until now, no one is in space has paid attention to Twitter. He took the social media off-world and let us see our world in a way that we've never seen it, and quite often. I mean, like every few minutes, or a couple times an hour at least, maybe more frequently, you were always getting pictures from Chris Hadfield of wherever the International Space Station had flown over recently. So it's not like, oh, I'm looking at a stock photo from 1968,
right.
That type of thing.
I think Boston was just last night, or his last one. Yeah.
And can you imagine the roaming charges? Like if I go over the border of the States, it costs me $800.
Practical Melanie, practical Melanie.
Well, and has he made space exploration cool?
Oh,
I mean, it's not such a nerdy thing anymore. I mean, look at this man, what he's accomplished. And Jeff Hopper and I have been laughing all week every time we see him singing. We think, when he was singing for Music Monday, I believe a week ago, we thought, okay, well, you're an astronaut and a rock star too. I mean, you're just, you're showing us all up there.
Well, who knew that he was such a good guitar player and such a good singer, and such an engaging guy? You know, all these guys are brainiacs. They're smart guys. And a lot of them have great personalities. Mark Arnold, great personality. Steve McLean, great personality. But this guy just kind of tops them all. He's the kind of guy you want to sit down and have a beer with at the press con.
Absolutely. Okay, so what comes next? Because he's going to come back, and he's in his 50s. He's 53 years old. What do you do after being an astronaut, after you've gone to space? So the program itself is not sending a lot of Canadian astronauts up anymore. So what's he going to do now?
Well, his resume is astronaut, rock star. He's pretty much good.
How do you top that? Prime Minister? Could we see him running in politics? Do you think that's in the road for him? I mean, it's what Mark Garneau did. What do you think, John?
You know what? I'd like to say education and go back to what you were talking about earlier about space being cool. He also made geography cool. Okay, I mean, we've never been able to appreciate our planet in this way, and I think that a generation of people have looked at Earth for the first time from somewhere other than a textbook or National Geographic, and I think that, to me, opens up a door to something that comes along once in a generation.
And I think if he doesn't end up doing a guest spot on Big Bang Theory, we should all just be watching TV all together.
We were saying this morning he's going to be on some late night TV as well. He's got some talent. Okay, well, he comes back to Earth tonight at 10 o'clock, 10:30, I believe, to be precise, and that'll be something we'll be watching and covering. Another story I just want to get to quickly is the fact that it's an online, it's a survey, rather, that was done in the United States with regards to texting and driving. And in the U.S., it has now, with teens, young Americans, surpassed the number of drunk driving incidents where people are being killed. Texting behind the wheel has overtaken drunk driving as the biggest cause of death among teenagers. Some 3,000 teens are killed every year in crashes now in the U.S. because of texting. The number is 2,700 for drinking and driving.
Nothing you have to say or nothing your friend has to say to you is worth dying. You can wait till you pull over to see what your friend wants to do that night. You don't have to be going on the phone all the time.
And you know, there's an interesting part in this. They're saying, you know, kids are not drinking 24 hours a day, but they are texting.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest problems. It's always with them.
There was a sign out of the school at St. Mark's, it may still be there, it was something to the effect, wave if you want to say hi to God, text if you want to meet him.
Oh, wow.
You know, that's
Pretty
really
powerful.
the danger, the bottom line of all this is you can kill yourself. My personal belief is that education is really the only way to change it. It's not a fine. It's like with drunk driving. It took years and years and years. Fewer people are drinking and driving. Some still are, but fewer. It's like smoking. Education, fewer people are smoking. And I think it's going to take a generation, and sadly, it's going to take some very, very sad stories.
And how do we get through to these teens, these young people, John?
Well, you made the reference to drunk driving. Problem is, in a way, you have to work at driving drunk. Okay? You have to start at a point to get there. Where with texting, it's just there. It's there all the time because who doesn't have a mobile device right now? And regardless of your age, but it is prominent, it is most prevalent in teens because teens are the biggest they are most engaged in texting. So to me, I imagine that because it takes a long time to change people's attitudes, what we might see sooner is disabling devices, which will be automatic. I mean, we probably have the technology now or very soon where if you've got a device, as soon as you get into the car, it won't be able to function.
Right, that just might be the way things have to go. All right, we got to cut it up there. We wrap it up there. Thanks very much, Michael, Mel, and John. A great panel discussion today on a couple very interesting topics.